Gone. Paul Brown says he's the greatest. Marty, what do you think?
He was certainly among the greatest. The finest pure passer I ever saw was Sammy Baugh of the Washington Redskins, and perhaps alongside of him Y.A. Tittle. But ranking right with them as a great all-round quarterback, because he certainly could carry the ball as well, was Otto Graham.
Well, of course, with the absence of Otto Graham, everybody had to make adjustments, and I think the Giants really made many more than did the Browns. They picked up a couple of assistant coaches you might have heard of. Lombardi, I think, was one of them, and Landry was another one.
Vince Lombardi and Tom Landry, two of the greatest who ever coached the game. And Tom Landry changed the concept of defensive play. Time was that the defensive end had his piece of territory, the defensive tackle his piece of territory, and so on. He changed those individual responsibilities to team responsibilities, and he built his defense around the middle linebacker. And the Giants had a really good middle linebacker, a fellow named Sam Huff. He was something.
Really wasn't a bad player, and so it was the job of that man right there to stop that man right there. Wasn't easy.
Frank Gifford is a television celebrity living in Greenwich, Connecticut, but at heart, he'll always be an old Giant.
When we got here, there was an intense rivalry at the time between the Giants and Paul Brown. They played these games like 6-0, and the Giants had nothing but defense. Then Vince Lombardi came in '54 and started to put things together offensively. Lombardi realized that he had this sort of special group of guys that when your deep pass pattern man is Frank Gifford, you got a problem, because I didn't need a coffee break to cover 50 yards. Webster was our next fastest back, I guess, and this is really funny. But we beat a lot of people with a lot of slow receivers.
Lombardi devised an offense geared to the special skills of his special men, a plan which required precise timing and teamwork. Lombardi's influence was unmistakable, just as it would be in Green Bay during the 60s. Lombardi's defensive counterpart was former Giant player Tom Landry. Landry's innovative defense required an anchor in the middle, and he chose a youngster named Sam Huff from West Virginia. Huff captured the imagination of New York fans as middle linebacker in Landry's 4-3 defense. It was a position designed for aggression. Smiling Sam Huff was transformed into a menacing villain. Today, the echo of these violent days is fading, and mild-mannered Sam Huff is an executive with the Marriott Corporation in Bethesda, Maryland.
And the 4-3 defense was just being developed by Tom Landry. Fortunately, I lived in the same hotel in New York that Tom Landry lived in. And he would call me down every night and talk to me about playing linebacker, going over defenses with me. So I was really tutored almost 24 hours a day by Tom Landry. And it was developed around me, and we coordinated all 11 players on defense.
While Landry built his defense on the practice field, Paul Brown turned to his scouts in the draft to offset the loss of Otto Graham.
Greet some boys who might help next year. Bill Plum is